C-U-L-T-U-R-E. Oh, and what's going on? What it is? Welcome back and welcome to Culture 101 Podcast, where we push the culture forward and have a damn good time doing it. I am 1/3 of the collective, one of your co-hosts. I'm Trist. I'm posted up in Harlem, y'all. And you know what? Today, since Waldo's on the scene, we're going to throw it right down to Maryland. You know, because Waldo is in Maryland.
But
Right
hey y'all, it's Shauna Don reporting
The
live from
sexy
Maryland.
candy cane. The sexy chocolate
See,
candy
that's
cane.
better than Where's Waldo. This
I
nigga
like that better.
disrespecting me. I like to be a sexy candy cane and shit. Lick me up.
Oh wow. All right. Tifa, come get your lady. Tifa, come get her.
Okay,
Come
please.
get her.
Whatever, pass it to Leslie.
You about to be in rare form tonight.
Rare
Y'all
form.
is so funny.
I cannot. But yeah,
Pass
it's
it
your girl
over to
Liz,
Texas.
aka.
Absolutely.
As I was saying, it's your girl Liz, your homegirl in your head. It's my new little Monica.
I love that.
I mean,
Leslie. I love that.
you could also be my homegirl in person. The fuck? Like, I mean, I just feel like
I say in your head because like our audience don't like
everybody
know me
can't
like
have
that. We
access
don't
to
hang
you.
out.
I get it.
Exactly.
I get it. Look, I'm here for it. It sounds good. It's catchy. I call myself saying the shit, so it's fine.
You know, if y'all ain't feeling it, let me know in the comments. If y'all like it, let me know in the comments. Either way it goes.
No, fuck that. You say what you want to say. That's why
We'll
we
say it
have
with
our own
chest.
show. Exactly. That's right. Say it with two titties. All of it. Say it. Exactly. Now,
1, 2.
of course. But ladies, what are you doing for this Halloween? Do you have Halloween plans?
So I'll go. Mine will be real quick. No, that's a short answer. The longer answer is I went out yesterday to the House of Torment in Austin, which is like they have like 3
It's a BDSM club. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. Okay, I'm jumping ahead of the story. All right.
They have like 3 different like haunted houses. They had like a mini escape room and like a couple other things going on. So we went to the 3 haunted houses. And I'm the type where, you know, I'm scary. So I'm going to scream, I'm going to jump and run. So it's like, I was trying to run away from these things, but it's like people in front of me. So I kept like running over the guy in front of me. I was like, I'm so sorry. But like, you got to move because these things is right up on your back over here scared me. So the first and third one were pretty scary. I enjoyed those. The second one was kind of like meh, but overall we had a good time.
So let me tell y'all. I went out. So my partner, her family came into town this weekend, her brother and his kids and his wife. So they all came to town. It's the brother, his wife, and 2 young kids. So we took them to the African American History Museum.
Oh, nice.
That was nice. We had such a great time. Afterwards, they had trick-or-treating that was hosted by the fire department, the police department, the FBI, the CIA.
Dang.
Everybody
all government.
If you got a government official, you was all there. They all was there. They let y'all do tours of the little vans that they do stings in. You know when they do like little undercover stings and they have the TVs and the vans and shit. They let us walk through there. So it was super cool. Yeah, we got to bring the kids through there. They got some candy. It was a really good time. So I went trick-or-treating with the feds.
Come on, trick-or-treating with the feds?
Could you not just advertise that on the show? You're gonna alienate all the gangsters that listen to this program. They're gonna be like, I don't know, man. Sean with the feds now. I don't know if she can listen anymore.
Temporarily.
Just for the moment.
Yeah, if niggas want to know, I am a snitch, so don't matter to me.
That's real. That's
don't
super
do no
real.
crime with me. I'm not going to jail. So
girl, you know I'm right there with you.
Figure it out.
Anyway, but no, I think I'm gonna step out for Halloween in New York for a little bit. I don't think I'm gonna do too much because it was kind of raining here this past weekend. Like it was nice. No, I really don't. Cause like this year I've called it my Halloween sacrifice because I feel like I've been trying to get a lot of things done here and I'm gonna need that time. So I will go out for a little bit. I think Spider-Man's gonna make an appearance in the West Village. I'm gonna pop over there. I'm not going all the way to Brooklyn. Not tonight. It's gonna be a lot. Well, not tomorrow night rather. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go out for a little bit. We're gonna see what's popping and shaking and for Halloween. Maybe hit like a comedy club or something. Like there will definitely be something to do. And then of course I got to get some candy corn before it's all said and done.
Come
But
on,
once I
candy
get that,
corn.
we're gonna be good to go.
So you want the nastiest candy of Halloween?
Candy corn is great. Don't be a hater.
First off, let's stop right now. The nastiest candies, and they are in this order. It is called Peeps. It is called Three Musketeers bars.
Don't hate on Three Musketeers.
No.
Go ahead, keep going, Tristan. Keep going.
That's up there. And then number 3 is Banana Laffy Taffy or Banana Now and Later.
True.
I don't know why. It just don't taste good.
Yep.
It don't taste good.
And add licorice and Twizzlers on there.
I don't even count those as candy. I count that as crap. So that's fine. That's fine. But you know what is not crap? And do you know what is beyond fair? It's what the streets have been needing. I don't know if it's all of that, but what I do know is I know that the streets need it and the streets have been asking for it, and we got the lady here to deliver it because, folks, it is time for the Bulletin Board. Man, take it away.
Hold on, I missed the half flip. Do it again.
Sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry, Sean, but I want to start off by giving a rest in peace to Mr. Richard Roundtree.
That's real. That's real.
Don't say sorry to me before you
have
talk about
to.
dead people. Damn.
I know you hate it, but like this one we have to acknowledge, right?
Man, it's a shaft right here. This
yes. This is a good one.
Okay. So Mr. Roundtree is best known for his role as Detective John Shaft in the 70s action thriller Shaft, and he actually passed away last week at the age of 81. There you go.
Who is the man? Brother Shaft.
Fun fact, I've never seen any of the Shafts.
But... Oh my God! Second that. Leslie, me too. Heart attack twice, because me either.
Double homicide.
I just know that it's for the
he
culture.
He was even in the most latest one. He was even in the most recent Shaft with Jesse T. Usher and Sam Jackson.
No, I didn't see any of them.
Story.
So I'm not going to ask. Never mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I loved him in other stuff that I've seen him in. So he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and passed at his home in Los Angeles. He was also diagnosed, this I didn't know, he was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 93 and actually underwent a double mastectomy. Yeah.
Damn.
So he was able to survive that, and later he became an advocate for raising awareness for cancer. So a couple little things about him. He was born in New Rochelle, New York in 1942 and made his silver screen debut in the 1971 film Shaft, like I said. And some of his other notable roles were in Roots, The Love Boat, Magnum P.I., Beverly Hills 90210. He had a couple episodes on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was in Soul Food, the series, which is one of my all-time favorite series. Being Mary Jane, and most recently Family Reunion with Tia Mowry on Netflix. I loved him in that show. So he accomplished a lot in his lifetime. He definitely left an indelible mark. So many people were, posting, heartfelt memories of him and just showing their gratitude for everything he shared and taught them over the years. So he definitely will be missed. So condolences go out to his family and friends.
Light and love, Mr. Roundtree. Light and love. May you rest in power, brother. Appreciate you. I may go watch Shaft Goes to Africa tonight, just because.
Me too. Well, I don't want to lie. Okay, so moving on to the next story. I call this one More Meta, More Problems. So if y'all haven't heard, 33 states are actually banding together to sue Meta, which we know is a company that owns Facebook and Instagram. And they're saying that the social media giant is consciously harming children's mental health. And not just children, adults too, but I digress. We'll get there. So in addition to that, 8 more states plus DC are filing suits within their own states and territories. So there's claims that the company shares data about children under 13 without their parents' consent, which of course is a violation of the federal privacy laws. And within that complaint, it is said that Meta has harnessed powerful and unprecedented technologies to entice, engage, and ultimately ensnare youth and teens. Its motive is profit, of course. And in seeking to maximize its financial gains, Meta has repeatedly misled the public about the substantial dangers of its social media platforms. It's concealed the ways in which these platforms exploit and manipulate its most vulnerable consumers, which are teenagers and children. The broader lawsuit also alleges that the company is exploiting young people's vulnerabilities by developing algorithms that are intended to keep users on the platform as long as possible, even compulsively creating visual filters, and those can contribute to like body dysmorphia, and presenting content in an infinite scroll format that just makes it hard for people to like put their phone down and engage, which I ain't gonna hold you. I got caught up in that before, which I had to put like.
But is that part their fault? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
You had me until that part because I was like, all right.
Like, I feel like people always get penalized for making their shit too good. Like, what kind of shit is this? Like, you're upset at me because my product is good. Like, and I understand, like, whether it be cigarettes or whatever it is, like, you're really upset at me because my product is too good.
First of all, I'm not agreeing with Tristan on that bullshit. I'm not saying cigarettes. No,
but the thing about it is that
fucking far. They have addictive properties in them. Yes, that's too far. You took it too far. So
you don't think that social media has addictive properties within it? That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Not as much as cigarettes. No, I would say no.
But I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
I would argue
because I'll put it to you like this. A cigarette, you got to make an active decision to go get a cigarette. You got to pay the money that it is for a cigarette. Cigarettes are more expensive. Like, you got to get in your hand. And
you got to go to.
And people would pay their last to give that cigarette versus no money involved for you to be online.
Not true. You got to pay your phone bill, and you got to have a phone to be in society.
You was going to do that anyway.
And you
have to have a phone to be in society, like you just said.
Right.
So you was going to do that anyway.
But that's what I'm getting at. Because you have a phone, you are susceptible to it because you can't escape it. There are some jobs
because you got a lighter, you were susceptible to a cigarette.
No, you're not, because the thing is that I could actively avoid a cigarette. Like, you could go your whole life and never see
addicted.
One. You really could.
That's not true. No, most people cannot go their entire life without seeing a cigarette. No, too many people smoke cigarettes for that to be true.
Where though?
What kind of sheltered igloo ass life do you think you would be in that you would never see a cigarette? That's kind of crazy.
I feel like there are plenty of children. Yeah, for sure.
That's not true. As many people that smoke cigarette, there's no way that people have gone their whole life without seeing someone smoke a cigarette.
I'm not gonna say
you're not even gonna make it to 6 without seeing somebody smoke a cigarette. Maybe you don't. You're talking about
depending upon where you live. Because I'm just saying, depending upon where you live, you may not see it. All I'm getting at is with a cigarette, you got to make an active decision. With social media, like, you just get caught up in it. All you have to do is turn it on.
No, you have to make an active decision because you have to make an account on social media. So you don't have to be in it if you don't want to.
Yeah, but if you want the information, you got to make an account. You can't look at it all.
You can Google. You can look on Google every day and say news today, and that will give you your news for today. So that's not true.
Yeah, but where's that source come from? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like sometimes there's only you can only get it through social media.
You got better information
because you can curate it if you like. And you see what I'm saying? And once you've curated that experience, now they're feeding it to you. That's what I'm saying. I see both sides,
I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree for the better portion of the show. But nah,
I get tired of people getting penalized because your shit's too good. Like, people get penalized because their shit is too good all the time.
I think people, if you have something that's addictive, that's a problem.
Ooh, that was a great spirited debate. Okay. So that was a spirited debate. But what I want to add that brings it back to Meta specifically is that 51% of US teenagers spend at least 4 hours a day on social media. And, this includes, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, all the things, Twitter. So with that being said, thousands of pages of documents were released back in 2021 by a whistleblower showing that Meta conducted extensive research on the negative impact of its platform on children's mental health. And they just decided to do nothing about it. So they know that their platforms are affecting teenagers and children in a negative way, but
what were the findings?
So it didn't go into detail with this particular article, but it did show that, they knew about these negative impacts on these kids, but they just chose to kind of just sweep it under the rug and not address it. So I think that's what the larger issue here is when it comes to these companies knowing the negative impact that they have, but choosing profit over the actual impact of, you know, on their consumers. So the last point I'll make, and then we can go ahead and move on, is that, you know, when it comes to legal battles like this against like these huge billion-dollar corporations, it's not that the states or the plaintiffs expect to like have a huge victory over it. It's just more so bringing awareness to it, you know, telling other people like, this is what's going on. We want y'all to know about it. We don't want it to continue to get swept under the rug. So that's really what the mission is when it comes to these type of lawsuits. And I'll just leave it at that. All right. So for our last story, I named this one, Ain't None of Our Business, Ain't None of Our Business. Shout out to Genuine. Did I get that? Did it sound like it?
It was.
Ain't none of your friends' business, but ain't none of our business.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Fair enough. So I didn't mean to do that, but okay. So Dwight Howard has denied accusations from Stephen Harper, who is a Georgia man, who says that he was actually sexually assaulted by the former NBA star and another person. So this has been all in the news within the last like week or so. Harper filed a state civil lawsuit against Howard in July of this year, alleging assault and battery, false imprisonment, and intentional infliction of emotional distress, but no criminal charges have been filed against Howard. So in a response filed this week by his attorney, Howard described the 2021 encounter at his Atlanta home as consensual and requested that the case be dismissed. So of course he's saying, you know, everything was consensual, there was no assault, please dismiss it. Harper's lawsuit says that he met Howard through Instagram and they exchanged explicit text messages, which those text messages have been released. You can read those online, before arranging to meet at Howard's home on July 19, 2021. While on his way to the Gwinnett County residence, Harper says Howard texted him to ask if another man or woman could join their planned sexual encounter. Harper says he told Howard he was not interested. Made it plain, no thank you. So once at Howard's home, Harper claims they were joined by a man dressed as a woman who identified only as Kitty. Harper says he tried to resist the two men, but Howard and Kitty forced him to participate in sexual activity. So his attorney says Mr. Harper was trapped in the defendant's bedroom and believed that he would suffer imminent bodily harm if he resisted the defendant's sexual advances. Afterward, Mr. Harper felt extremely violated and humiliated. It was in complete shock. So once again, Howard is denying all these allegations, and he said all three of them agreed to engage in consensual sexual activity, and that he actually wants to be reimbursed for whatever the court costs come once Howard believes once this is proven not to be true. So apparently Harper reported the alleged assault to Gwinnett County nearly a year later after the initial altercation in 2021. But apparently after the initial report, police tried to schedule a time for him to come in for a formal interview, and he just never came in for that interview. And so after making several attempts to meet with him, the detectives suspended the case because of a lack of participation from the victim, the alleged victim, I should say. And so now, a year after that, he's formally filing. So I think the bigger thing with this story is people have blown up the question of Dwight Howard's like sexuality, and they're not focusing on the fact that this is an alleged sexual assault case, which is the bigger conversation. You know, someone says no and something else happens, you know, one saying it's consensual, one saying it's not. So I think that's the bigger conversation and not so much focusing on whatever Dwight Howard's sexuality may be, because again, his response is, you know, what I do in my bedroom is my bedroom. Facts, 1000%. I think the issue is that it's being brought to the media because of what happened in that bedroom. So that's where all this hoopla comes from. Thoughts, opinions? Do we care?
I mean, he's had well, people have been thinking he was gay for like a while. So like, you know, he had the thing that came out in the past where I think he had some type of trans girlfriend or something like that. I think that's what she identified as. Oh. And that was when they talked about Dwight Howard, and then they got very explicit about the nature of his sex, if you will.
I don't think I knew about the trans girlfriend. I missed that.
Yeah, this was probably almost 2 years ago now when this came out, because there were a bunch of pictures and texts, like and they came out, and then they got really explicit with that one.
I wonder if that's the Kitty person that was.
I don't know, and I thought, and I wasn't sure if it was the same person either, and I tried to look into it. I couldn't figure it out. So it may very well be, but I thought he had parted ways from that person. So again, I don't know, but I hope that it's not what he's alleging, and I because given the nature of the explicit stuff from before, it doesn't sound that that's kind of the way he was getting down. But you know, you never really know with these things because you never want to like tell somebody they're lying when they, you know, accuse somebody of something like this, because you're like, you know, that's it could be because you don't know, you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hope that it's definitely not as egregious as he alleges, and you know they're able to put this behind them. But honestly, for Dwight, I just feel like he just has to live in this space now, you know, because I feel like it's because he was trying to get back into
Live
the
your
NBA.
truth.
Right. But you know, as an NBA star, I feel like that's because I feel like this situation is one of those situations where if he could have been like transparent about his ongoings before, then like I feel like maybe we wouldn't be here, because I feel like everything he has to do with this is so cloak and dagger. But now it's just kind of out there, so I don't know how that goes for his career or anything else. I mean, just in terms of that side. But again, I just hope it's not as as malicious as alleged.
Well, I was gonna say I was listening to another podcast, and on it, it was actually Higher Learning with Van Lathan, and he mentioned that Stephen A. Smith, and again, he mentioned this, so I'll say allegedly because I didn't hear it out of Stephen's mouth myself, but apparently he said that that's probably the reason why. Not probably. He said that's the reason why Dwight like played, I guess, overseas this past year and wasn't with an actual team, is because there was already rumblings of this whole pending lawsuit, or like this is about to happen, and no team wanted to, you know, have to deal with that and everything like that. So I was like, that's interesting. But like you said, if he felt comfortable enough to kind of like, I guess, live in his truth, then maybe it wouldn't have been a situation that ended in this, or allegedly ended with this. But like I said, I know people do lie, but I tend to believe victims. I think it takes a lot of courage in order to come out and speak your truth and say this happened to me, knowing that you're going against somebody who has, you know, X amount of dollars or X amount of fame or whatever. I think it does take a lot of courage to be able to stand up and say, no, this happened to me, it was wrong, and I feel like there should be some accountability there. So I'll keep y'all posted to see how this ends up. But yeah, again, I think the bigger conversation should be the actual assault and not, you know, white sexuality, because, you know, like you said, live your life. We're going to end it right there. And as always, I'll keep my ears to the street and report back next week. Hey, y'all, it's your girl Les, stopping by to let you know we have new merch dropping. Check it all out at culture101podcast.com.
Hello and welcome back. Today for the lesson plan, we have quite a wonderful episode on our hands. We have a gentleman here and a scholar, a knowledgeable sir that has much knowledge in the field of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a coach of ladies basketball. I hear young girls call him the coach. And then also one of Winston-Salem's native sons. Please give it up. Equity and Inclusion Coordinator for the City of Austin's Department of Economic Development. Please make some noise for Justin! That's right, brother. We want to make sure we bring you on here because we don't like our guests to just come on regular like, hello, Justin's here. Nah, bro. We want to bring you in. We want to bring you in right.
Yeah, I felt the love with that, right? Like being in Texas and having to introduce myself to people, it hasn't none of them felt like that. So I appreciate you.
Happy to have you here, brother. We really are. But today, guys, we're talking about grants. We're talking about Black business. We're talking about Black financiers. This is a financial lesson right here. And the person teaching the master class, just tell them a little bit about yourself, bro. Like, thank you for stopping by first and foremost. But tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm again, intro kind of killed it, but I work for the Economic Development Department at the City of Austin and doing equity work, so equity and inclusion coordinator. Really driven by like creating opportunities for people that look like us. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what led me to do the work that I'm in. But really having just moved to Austin, Texas, probably 2.5 months ago.
Okay.
So still new to the area, still learning the area, but trying to make the connections and, you know, learning this local government thing, realizing that there is a completely different world that a lot of us aren't familiar with, right? And there's money out there to be taken advantage of, if that's the right way to say it. So there's money there to help seed the things that we want to do, and trying to do my part to educate or let people know like how you can go get this money, right? Like, because there's big corporations and the people that have the they get inside the rooms, they know about it and they've been able to use it and flip it and do whatever they want to do. But why not us, right? Like, why can't we do it too?
Absolutely. So, like, was that always your passion, like even in undergrad, like just to go after diversity, equity, and inclusion, or like how did you fall into it?
It wasn't. So my undergrad degree is in like business administration. Like
Okay.
I wanted to work.
Yeah,
like
general.
I was when I first hopped on here, I talked about the Clippers jersey. I wanted to work in the front office, right? Like I wanted to be.
It's not too late. They could use you. The Bulls could use you right now.
Boy, I don't know. You feel me? The whole city of Chicago sports teams is just struggling. But that was my initial goal. Like I wanted to grow up playing sports, wanted to do it. But I always had a passion for like I don't know if I would go as far as like activism, but just like us, like I feel like we all as Black people, like, we want to see the rest of us do well. So, not really knowing how to name it, or kind of how to navigate that, going through school, and then I started working in Parks and Recreation, and really then.
Is it anything like the show?
It's 100% like the show. Like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of The Office, and then like I've watched The Office through like 4 or 5 times. Then Parks and Rec, I was like, man, this is whack. Like I can't get with this. But then when I started working in Parks and Recreation, I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. But yeah, it's 100%.
My God. Okay.
Did that and got a taste of local government, and then made the switch to economic development. So local government is cool. Just playing the game, but
Gotcha. So what is your day-to-day like in your role?
So my role really is just looking at a lot of it is looking at data, looking at grants or different programs that we run within our department to see, are we reaching the community, everybody in the community, right? Like, are we reaching underserved or in all those words, like under-resourced community members, or making sure that this whole thing is working for everybody, right? We want to make sure that everybody is able to benefit from what the city has to offer. Because again, I always say a rising tide lifts all boats. So like,
bro, I've been saying that shit
like
for a minute. A rising tide raises all ships. Talk about it. Say it one more time for the listeners.
Yeah. A rising tide lifts all boats. So like, again, if we can, from an economic perspective, we put money into the economy, right? So like, why can't we make more out of it? So my day-to-day is looking at those programs, making sure that everybody is benefiting from it, making sure that everybody is being tapped into. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I ain't gonna lie, don't show my employer this, but I be chilling most of the time. So I'll work hard, but then like midday I go get lunch, I come back, watch a little First Take on YouTube or something like that. So
not First Take.
Did you watch this morning?
I did not.
It was decent. It was decent. They were talking about that Rockets game. It was nice. But we'll move on. We'll digress. This is not a sports podcast.
We'll bring him back on to talk sports with you one day, Tristan. Not this time.
It's fine. So can you tell our viewers the difference between a small business grant and a loan? Like, I know it may seem simple, but like, could you break that down for us?
Yeah. So, I mean, the obviously the first glaring thing is that you don't have to pay back a grant, right? Business loans, a lot of people get business loans to kind of start out as entrepreneurs, but you do have to pay those back at some point. So there's like more pressure. There's a higher level of pressure that comes along with it, right? Like I got to put this money to work immediately. With a grant, the money is there for you to use, for any, however you need to use it, right? Obviously, some grants have some stipulations around them, but typically a grant is there to help you wherever you need it, right? Like whether it's payroll or materials, equipment, whatever it may be for your small business. And that again, I think that's the biggest kind of difference between the two.
So let's say you were starting a small business or, just start a business of any type. What would you go after first? Like a grant, or should you try to go for the loan? Like, what do you think is easier to obtain?
I think it's definitely easier to obtain a grant. I don't know that I would recommend going for a grant first, right? Because you'll typically get a larger amount with small business loans. But again, like for us as Black people, it's a little more difficult to get those or to get that proof of concept and all of those things to get a loan, and the banks have to think that they're going to get their money back and all of those things. But definitely the grants are easier to go about, right? I'm a horrible writer, but if you are good at like writing and like conveying what you're trying to do, then I would definitely say grants are the way to go, because they're there. You don't have to pay them back again, and they also, it helps. I think when you're applying for a grant, it helps you lay out who you're working for and what you're trying to do with your business. We also, I mentioned this a second ago, with our department, we have the small business grants, but also have like arts and cultural arts, right? So the interesting thing about that is art is really whatever you want it to be, right? Like podcasting is art, music is art. It's whatever you can kind of convey to the people.
Do you fancy yourself like a business artist? It feels almost that way.
I'm not artistic at all. I always think, if I could sing, I would be the most arrogant person in the world.
More arrogant.
Huh? I mean, like I'm cool now. Like if you think I'm arrogant now, if I could sing, or if I could play like a musical instrument,
dare I ask what you would sing?
Oh Lord!
So this, all right, I'm gonna take it.
He been practicing this one.
Yeah, okay. So like this is my thing. I love like R&B music, right? Like I've always loved R&B. So as I get older, I get further and further away from like rap music. But like, that's fair. I got like a list of the 5 greatest songs of all time, and they're all like,
name them. You got to.
Yeah, we're gonna
need 3 of them. We need 3.
No, I want all 5. I want all 5. No, I want them all.
So Because I Love You by Lenny Williams is.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Love you.
Incomplete by Cisco is slept on.
I mean, low-key, that's another Babyface tune right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Babyface tree.
We're not disagreeing. Okay.
Okay.
Got
right,
you.
Good. Look, you got me worried. I give you 3. I feel like 4 and 5 might be kind of.
No. We want them all.
Come on.
What else I put there? Can You Stand the Rain?
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Kind of basic, but it's cool.
Yeah.
What? Don't do that. Yes. Our karaoke song, Tristan.
What is it? What do you say?
Candy Rain. So for real.
Candy Rain, excellent.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Shout out to Andre Harrell.
Last one.
Come With Me by Sammy.
Shout out to Sammy. They be hating because I love Sammy.
Did you do that just for Leslie, bro? Is that what this is about? Is that what this is about?
I don't think I've ever told him how much I love Sammy, so he had no idea.
And that's a really random Sammy song to say, so that's a really good one.
That was his comeback, though. That's when he like came back as a grown man.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a bop. That's a bop. Yeah.
But I would tell y'all too, if you look at, I don't know how y'all feel about Day 26, but like Exclusive.
Yeah. I want you exclusive.
Shout a little jukebox.
I love J26. What a feeling so strong. Why
Come on, little jukebox.
Move on?
Shout out to Day 26. Wherever
Shout out
they
to
are,
Day
we hope
26.
you're well. So
you
now,
don't know Day 26? You didn't watch the show?
I never watched the program. I know. Honestly, what's really funny is that my roommate freshman year at Howard, everybody thought he looked like Will from Day 26. So whenever we would go someplace, they'd be like, funny. Will? I'd be like, yeah, my man Will over here, bro. You know what it is.
Not y'all get in the clubs.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, we use that. Absolutely.
Not you in Club Love claiming you Will from Day 26.
I mean, our favorite Day 26 was One Night Only. That was our jam. That was the one.
Fair.
That was the one.
Okay.
Now, we do love statistics here at Culture 101 Podcast.
We do.
And right now, only 4% of Black American businesses survive the startup stage. Can I say that again, guys? Only 4% of Black American businesses survive the startup stage, even though 20% of Black Americans start these businesses. So can you tell us like the importance of these small business grants, especially in the Black community and for new entrepreneurs, and perhaps, you know, where they might seek these things out? You know, if they were looking for them.
So I think you laid it out perfectly, right? Like financial backing is one of the things that I think that has those small businesses fail, along with like some other things. But those grants help with that financial backing, right? Again, we looking at a time coming out of pandemic where like nobody can have enough like staff and workers, right? So like you need to be able to pay them and things like that. So it's very vital to access these grants because free money, right? Like I hate to oversimplify it, but at the end of the day, it's free money. It's just you got to know where to go get it, right?
Where do they go get it?
There are. I had a list. Hold on, let me pull up my list of some spots.
Yeah, we would love that information.
And I would say, like, initially look for look in your local government, right? Like, until I got into this role, I never would have thought that like I could just go to the city or anything like that and they're giving away money, right? Like the city of Austin. Where y'all like DC?
So Sean is in Maryland.
I'm in DMV. We got some Texas, Leslie, and New York, Tristan.
And he's in Harlem. So we all over. So how does that work?
What's that?
How does that work with us being in 3 different places? Can we apply to each of the cities that we live in respectively or each of the states? Like, how does that work if we're all in different locations?
Where does the money reside?
So I would look at whatever like the kind of guidelines are laid out for us with like our cultural arts funding, right? Like with those grants, as long as whatever you're producing is somehow like based in like Austin, Texas, right? So like Leslie, if you lived in Austin, right, that's enough for you to qualify for this grant. Like it doesn't matter.
I have to use your address.
Yeah, right. Like that would be that would working.
I got a cousin who lives there.
And you just gonna keep snitching.
All you need is one piece of mail. That's all you need. Get it right.
Like, if you want to do a quote unquote a good school back in the day, you just had to get that one piece of mail sent. So there's the Minority Business Development Agency.
I think say that one more time for the listeners.
Yeah, we need to write that down.
That name felt like
Johnny, you taking notes? Johnny does our grants.
Minority Business Development Agency.
Okay.
Is one that a lot of people go to. And then there's really, if you just go on to like Google and like type in like small business grants, it'll give you a list of things. But again, I always look at it from like minority or women or Black owned business standpoint. So there's that. So I would say that website, also checking your local government, whether it's city or town or municipality you live in.
And you would suggest to do that first, though, as opposed to like going nationally.
Yeah. I would look locally first, right? Like look local because they're trying to give away money to the people. Again, if it's an economic development type deal, they want to make sure that it's going to people who live in that area. So, especially like you guys have put out like 60-some episodes, right? Like so. There's a line.
I love that you had that information right off the top of his head. It's fantastic.
I told y'all, listen. I got some beef with y'all in a minute after we get off it. But
shoot. What we do. Tristan did it.
Wow. Ready to put me under the bus immediately. That's fine. Take the bus.
But yeah, like, you know, y'all got 60-some episodes in. So there's like a line of like, hey, we've been doing this. We've been building something up.
Right.
And maybe we just want to take this thing to the next level, right? I think that's the biggest thing when we look at like different applications that come in, right? It's got to be like a clear vision, one, and two, show that you've been, you know, building something up to this point, right? It's a little bit harder for businesses or even artists that are just coming in. This is their first time, right? Like we got to show. Where with loans, it might be like, hey, I need to make sure I can get this money back. With grants, I think it's more so like, hey, show that what you're trying to do has been flushed out a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. That definitely makes sense. So I got a question about. So I found so many different types of grants online, right? And a few of them would have requirements where you would have to pay a fee for you to get the award. How do you feel about those types of grants? Do you feel like those are scams? Those are something that we should stay away from, or do you feel like those are?
I would never. I wouldn't call them scams. I would say that there are so many other avenues that you don't have to pay a fee to apply for these grants. So like, I personally, again, have never come across any of those where you got to pay just to apply. Because the way my mind works, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? Like, you pay to then give you, what is that? So, I can't speak to those businesses, but in terms of everything I've looked at, I would try to. There's so much free money out there that you don't have to pay for an application fee or anything. I would say, like, again, those sites and looking on Google, you'll be able to find free things.
Okay, that's good advice. That's good advice because I was really considering. I'm like, if I put in $10 and I could win $2,500, sounds pretty good.
That trade off.
Yeah, and like,
but then it's like, is that a gamble? Like, it's getting weird.
It can add up on you, like, especially like if you're trying to grow like at a pretty decent amount. You pay $10 20 times. Man, I could have just used that for what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right. True. Hey y'all, it's your girl, Sean the Don, and I'm here to tell y'all that we now have merch up live. You can find some t-shirts, you can find puzzles, you can find candles, whatever you want, we got it. Come check us out at culture101podcast.com.
So now, even with a strong credit profile, Black entrepreneurs, they say, are 50% less likely than their white counterparts to secure full financing. Why do you think that is? And then also, why do you think a lot of minority-owned businesses don't even apply for these small business grants?
Oh, I think the number one thing to answer that, the last part, is that there's a knowledge, like, people just aren't aware of it, right? I think that's a big thing. I think that there also is it could be frustrating, right? Like when you think about writing, like grant writing in itself, you take 4 or 5, 6 hours to like put your everything into something, and then we know that like the person on the other end of that, like, to be quite frank, right? Like the person on the other end of that culturally might not understand what I'm trying to convey, right? They might not understand why Culture 101 is vital to us, right? So I think there's a level of frustration, or maybe a level of distrust that comes along with our community applying for like funding in general. But
do we know who the people are that are making these decisions over the grants? Like, is there a way to get access to that?
So again, if you go through like your local government, they should be very transparent. Like, again, I'll speak for the city of Austin. We are very transparent in like the scoring process, like the rubric and everything like that is put on the city's website. You can watch the review of the application. So,
oh wow,
exactly streamed.
Wow,
they stream it. What do you mean? Like, this is like people in the room and they're like,
Zoom, right? Like yeah, like we'll record it through Zoom, and you're able to watch and see the evaluation of it. You don't see
literally, like, these are people in a room and they're going over the grant, and you can like watch them do this, like a town forum or something. Wow.
So there's a greater level of transparency there. Obviously, if you apply for like a private grant, then I can't really speak to that. I don't really know who's looking at it. But yeah, again, those local governments, like, there should be that transparency of what it is. And that would be one thing that I would point out, right? Like, hey, ask whoever you're applying for a grant for, hey, what is this grading group? How are you scoring this, right? Because again, you kind of gotta get into the mindset of how you think people may look at it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's one of those things where, all right, let me see how they want to score these things. With what we do, we're very focused on like equitable small businesses or equitable artists or things like that, right? Like, you can't just be the people who have been running this country for since its inception, right? And just apply for a grant and assume you're going to get it because you have a great grant writer on your staff, right? Like, what are you doing to make sure that everybody can benefit from whatever it is you're offering, from your business, from your art, whatever it may be?
I feel like knowledge is definitely one of the most important things with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but Sean, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, so you gave us a lot of information on where we can find these grants, and you also talked about the grading rubric that they look for. But what are the components that they specifically look for in this grant application process?
Hey guys, it's your boy Tris, and guess what? We got new merch. That's right, new merch. Come check it out. Culture101podcast.com. Stay tuned, stay locked in. All right, everybody, we are back, and you know what time it is. It's time to do it for the culture. Do it for the culture. Do it. Jonathan.
Do it for the culture. So
Take it away.
this week's Do It for the Culture is something very personal for me. I thought that I was so excited to share this story. So, little background. When I was in undergrad, I interned at an event planning company, and it was owned by this woman named Jon'll Boyd. And she was a great, phenomenal Black woman, amazing. I interned with her for a few months. Now, in the year of 2023, Miss Jon'll Boyd has opened up a winery in Maryland and is the first Black family-owned winery in Maryland. And maybe you don't know, but only 1% of wineries are Black-owned in the United States. And she is one of them in Maryland, where all of the grapes are locally sourced from Maryland as well.
I didn't even know Maryland grew grapes until just this moment.
Yes. So the company is called Boyd Crew Wines. That's BOYD Crew CRU Wines, WINES. And they are locally sourced in Maryland. They have their own winery. This comes from Jon'll Boyd. She had 12 years of industry experience in event planning, and she decided to turn her event planning company into a winery experience where people can come, Black people and people of all colors can come and learn about the making of wine, the whole process and how it's done, and also have a fun, interactive experience at the same time while enjoying wine. And in 2024, they are projecting to own their own event space where people can have their own events at the winery. So yes, it is amazing. I cannot wait to go. So as soon as I heard about this story, I was like, yeah, I got to put this on this.
Where is it? Tell the people where it is. I've been waiting the whole time. Where is it?
Poolsville, Maryland.
Where the hell is
Poolsville. Let me see how far away that is from civilization.
I just knew it was going to be only something I'd heard of. She said Poolsville, Maryland. Okay. Not to disrespect the people of Poolsville, Maryland. I'm sure y'all are good folk. We don't know it. We won't know. We're going to find out right
somewhere
now.
in PG County, maybe.
I really did. I was like, somewhere out of Rundle somewhere. I don't know.
It ain't nowhere where it's easily found, but it's there and it's Black owned. So if you want to go out and support somebody, you want to do it for the culture, do it for Boyd Crew Wines.
Okay.
Before we field trip. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my God. That could be where the live show is. They get that event space. That'll be the place for the live show.
That would be now. Okay.
And I worked for her for free. So she might owe me a little something.
There's only two things I have with that. One, where is it? I don't know how we're going to get there. And then number two, the other part is how everybody else going to get there. Because they don't know how everybody else going to get there. They don't know where it is. Where is Poolsville?
At this age, the people that live in the DMV area all got cars. They are getting cars at least. Because it's not like we was in our 20s and we all taking a train. Nah, people getting cars. They getting where they need to go.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Well, shout out to Black. What is it called again? What's the name of it?
Boyd Crew Wines.
Boyd Crew Wines. Okay.
Oh, it's in Montgomery County, so it's not in
the
middle of nowhere.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
We can get right out there. Get right out there. That tells me everything. It's past Silver Spring. I know where it is. I know where it is. Have you tasted any of this wine? Can you give any insight into the taste?
I have not, but I will be there in the next couple of weeks. I'm letting y'all know because they do small events for the community. Tasting events, paint and sips and stuff like that. So I'm definitely gonna be there.
Do they sell in any retailers right now, or is it just at the winery?
Don't know that much. As far as I know, they're only at their own winery.
Okay. All right. Well,
Shout
shout
out
out to
to
Miss Jon'll
them.
Boyd. Shout out to
Mhm.
you, event
Mhm.
planner and sommelier, apparently. My
There you go.
gosh. We
I
love
love
it.
it.
Well,
I
if
love
that's
it.
all for Do It for the Culture, guys, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Well, it seems like we've reached that time in the show again. Not a somber time, but just a time where we're leaving for a little bit. You know, because we'll be back though. We'll be back next week. I promise you, next Friday. But in the meantime, we need a favor from you guys. This is very important. Everybody gather around. Everybody listen closely. Like, subscribe, share that shit so
You're so
people
loud.
can hear it. Exactly. I want people to hear it. I want them all in their ear hole. Well, please do, guys. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple, wherever you get your podcast. But if you want to contact us, Leslie, how would they do that?
Yes, so you can hit us up at contact@culture101podcast.com. Or if you want to drop us a listener letter to be read on the show, hit us up on our website. It's culture101podcast.com. If you want to be anonymous, please state that, or you can just make up your own name.
Use your real name. Use it. Use it.
I ain't trying to incriminate nobody or nothing, so use your judgment.
Sean, could you tell them about our merch and tell them where they can find it?
Oh, absolutely. If y'all looking for our merch, you can find it at culture101podcast.com/shop. We got t-shirts, we got mugs, we got them little swishy jackets that make sounds. Whatever you looking
Called a
for,
quarter
we
zip.
got it. Oh, that's what it's called. We got it all. So come to culture101podcast.com/shop.
Come on, /
Talk about it. Well, all right, guys. Shout out again to Justin Parsons. Thank you again for blessing us, brother, and dropping those wonderful gems on us again. And again, guys, if you're looking for grants, definitely look into them. They're out there. Free money, as he says. And again, shout out to Miss Jon'll Boyd. All right. And again, I'm going to send prayers, love and light to Richard Roundtree and his family.
Yes.
You know, as he has transitioned on. But again, guys, until the next time, I've been Trist.
It's your girl, Les.
And I'm Shauna Dunn.
And even though these grants may change, the vibe remains the same. We out, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.